You're listening to Keith Sports News. Why, hello there. Welcome to KSN episode 11. That's right. So, it's going to be another big episode for sports talk. And yeah, let's get into it. All right. So, what are we going to talk about? The CFP National Championship game that happened on Monday night. The NFL Conference Championship games preview, and some more Australian Open tennis news. All right. Look what I'm wearing. A Mario winter hat, and if you can't tell, look. That's right. Ohio State shirt. It kind of matches, right? Because it's both in the color of red. Oh, and the wall painting behind me is in red. So, that's right. The Ohio State has won the national championship game, and that is where we'll begin for this episode. So, the reason why I have this shirt is because I did not just get this shirt. I've had it for years, actually. I've had it for years. And the past couple of years, I forgot that I have this shirt. And I think it's because I have so many shirts. Because, like I said, I've had this shirt for years, and I just kind of forgot all about it. So, the night of the championship game, this popped in my head. I'm like, wait, I think I have an Ohio State shirt. Let me go see in my closet over there. And I found it. It's like kind of near the back of the closet. So, good thing I found it. And I wore it because I want them to win. So, and this Mario Snow hat, I've had this for years as well, and it still fits well. This shirt still fits well. There's actually a hole in the shirt. It's somewhere. Oh yeah, here it is. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, the shirt still fits well. So yeah, congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes on winning the national championship game. And what a day it was. January the 20th, 2025 was MLK Day, Inauguration Day, which happens every 4 years, and the CFP National Championship game. All that on the same date. Historic. Okay? And also, the reason why I'm wearing the snow hat is because the day after January the 20th, it was snowing a lot. Yep. In South Louisiana, that's where I live. It was snowing a lot. The day after Ohio State won the national championship game, it's like, oh, South Louisiana, they got the Ohio State weather. Actually, it's really the southeast. Houston, it was snowing a lot there. Mississippi, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida, the beach, it's crazy. I think even Atlanta, Georgia, it was snowing there. That's where the national championship game took place, in Atlanta. So, crazy. Thank you, Ohio State, I guess. Because it was a historic week, I guess. The snow days, the freezing cold. I mean, not really normal in South Louisiana. The last time it snowed was over 7 years ago. So there you go. Anyways, yes, I did. For those of you that follow my main channel, I did a lot of video clips of that snow, and I'll try my best to release it as soon as possible. But I've already did 2 YouTube shorts of it, so it's like a little preview of the big snow vlog. So yeah. All right. Now, let's talk about the game itself. So, first, my brother came over to watch the game with us because he is a big Ohio State fan. Even though he's not from Ohio, but we got some Domino's pizza, a lot of food from there, and I also did a YouTube short of that. And yeah, so we watched it on the main network, ESPN, the main broadcast with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. And by the way, Chris, the day after the championship game, he has to get on a flight to go all the way to Melbourne, Australia for the Australian Open. Yeah. Because, I follow the Australian Open every year, and I did not hear him. I did not hear his voice because, he has this going on, the national championship game. So he has to get on a flight the day after to go all the way to Melbourne, Australia for the Australian Open. So, yeah. So, I think he's probably going to do the semifinals and the finals on both the men's and women's side. That's my guess. So, anyways. So, I missed pretty much the opening drive because Notre Dame, they got the ball first. I missed the opening drive because I was getting food. All right, so on the way back, luckily, I have Sirius XM to listen to the game. So I was listening to the beginning of the game on radio on the way back home. So that's what I did. And when I came home, Notre Dame still has the ball, and they're about to score a touchdown, which they did. They scored first, and they had the ball for like half of the first quarter. That's pretty crazy. Like, that doesn't happen. Sorry, I'm yawning. I know. I'm recording this Friday morning. I usually record this the night before I release these episodes, but it was getting late and I was getting tired, so I'm like, let's try and record an episode in the morning. So just bear with me. Anyways, so yeah, Notre Dame scored a touchdown and the first quarter was half over already. You don't see that very often. Yeah, even in pro football, you don't really see that very often. So Notre Dame scored first, and I'm like, uh-oh. This could be a tough one for Ohio State. So I picked Notre Dame to win only because of the points, because my Bowl Mania group, I'm in two groups, okay? For those of you that do the Bowl Mania group, the first group is my group. The second group is a YouTube friend. Okay, so the second group, the guy who's in first place, I knew he would pick Ohio State, which he did. So I'm like, well, I might as well pick Notre Dame, because if I get this game correct, I would win his group. So now the scoring summary. So Notre Dame scored first and 7-0. Second quarter, Ohio State scored 3 touchdowns to make it 21-7 at halftime. And I think Notre Dame had like 2 or 3 of their timeouts with less than 30 seconds left in the first half. And for some reason, they didn't try to score a touchdown or a field goal. Because I mentioned Notre Dame got the ball first, meaning Ohio State would get the ball in the second half. And Notre Dame, they didn't even try to score. So then Ohio State scored another touchdown in the third quarter, and then they scored a field goal, 31-7, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a blowout. This is a blowout. Then it's like a blowout from the last time Notre Dame was in a championship game against Alabama. That was a blowout too. But Notre Dame, they tried to come back, and they did. They scored 2 touchdowns with the 2-point conversion. So they scored 16 points, and now it's 31-23, a 1-score game. So Notre Dame has to score another touchdown with the 2-point conversion to tie the game. However, earlier, I don't know when this was. This might have been in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter. But Notre Dame, they went for a field goal, okay? And they missed it. I think it hit the upright. And so the score was, I believe, it was supposed to be 31-18. If they made that field goal, it would have been 31-18. And then if they scored a touchdown again, it would have been 31-25. Because they didn't have to go for the 2-point conversion, meaning, Ohio State's winning only by 6 points. So Notre Dame can come back and win the game by 1 point, but that didn't happen. And then eventually Ohio State, they kicked the game-winning field goal, and the final score was 34-23. So the game was a little bit closer towards the end, but I mentioned it was 31-7 in the third quarter, half of the third quarter. So it was pretty much all Ohio State. So congrats to them on winning the national championship game. 10 years since the last time they won it. And I do remember when they won that national championship game 10 years ago, which was the first year of the 4-team playoff format. Yep. They won it 10 years ago with Urban Meyer as the head coach, and now 10 years later, Ryan Day wins the national championship. And I'm happy for Ryan Day, and I've never seen Ryan Day this happy. So, he can celebrate all he wants, and he did it. He did it. I know he has a Michigan problem, but I think his team could finally beat Michigan next year. So, yeah, it was. I was entertained, even though some of the game was a one-sided. But like I said, my brother was there watching the game with us, so we were having a good time. And then, the day after, snow day. So, so what do I think of the playoff as a whole? This was the first year with this 12-team playoff format. Some people like it as a 12-team playoff format. Some people don't like it. I think more people don't like the seeding. I think that's the problem that people have with this playoff system is the seeding. Like when the playoff began, Ohio State was number 8, Notre Dame was number 7, and those are the two teams that went to the national championship game. Boise State is number 3. Do you really think Boise State is better than Ohio State and Notre Dame? No. Are they better than Penn State? No. Penn State beat Boise State easily. Are they better than Texas? No. No disrespect to Boise State. Are they better than Tennessee? No. You know what I'm saying? Are they better than Arizona State? No. That's the problem people have, And 12-team is weird to me. It should be 8. It should be 8. It really should be 8. I don't really like that 4 teams get a bye. That's weird. It should be 8. If not 8, 16. But Adam Shine says on Shine on Sports on Sirius XM, well, he said this for the NFL playoffs, but he basically said, this is what happens when you expand the playoffs in football. You get more blowout games. And he's right. That's why I hope they don't add any more teams. Because the NFL playoffs is also 12 teams. It used to be 12 teams, but now it's, I think it's 14. So, yeah. Anyways, so that's that. And when I went to ESPN.com for the college football schedule, they already released the 2025 schedule. My gosh. So yeah, 2 years in a row, no SEC team in the playoff. Back-to-back champions from the Big Ten. Yeah. It has been quite the year for college football. The main thing I watched throughout the season was SEC football on ABC. I've always enjoyed that. Didn't really watch much Big Ten. I barely watched ACC games and Big 12 games. It's mainly SEC. So, anyways, I believe that's it. So, yeah, the season has ended. And now we'll see which players will be going to the NFL draft in about 3 months in April. And I know usually a lot of Ohio State players go to the NFL draft. So we shall see. We shall see. All right. Now, to the NFL playoffs. We're down to 4 teams. The conference championship games on Sunday. This is it, man. Which 2 teams will go to the Super Bowl? So for the first game, at 2 p.m. Central, it's the NFC Championship game between the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. You can call it the NFC East Championship game because both these teams are in the NFC East division. When's the last time that happened? Yeah. In all conference rival championship games. So, the Eagles get the home game, all right? And it's going to be cold there, obviously. But I think the Washington Commanders can handle the cold weather. We'll see how Jaden Daniels plays. after what they scored like 40. Why am I yawning? Probably because I just woke up not too long ago. But Jaden Daniels' team scored over 40 points in Detroit. I don't think they'll score that many points in the cold weather. Here's the thing: I'm going to cheer for the Commanders. I want them to win because since I'm from South Louisiana, Jaden Daniels played at LSU and he won the Heisman Trophy there. This is his first year in the NFL. Here he is in the conference championship. So I will cheer for him to win this game. I think it will be a close game, but I think the Eagles are somehow they're going to pull this one out. I think the Eagles are going to win by a touchdown. I'll say 27-20. I think that'll be the final score. It might go to overtime. I don't know. I'm glad they have different overtime rules where, you know how that stupid rule where the first team score wins and the other team doesn't get a chance to score? That's stupid. Yeah. That Super Bowl 51, it went into overtime. And they had that stupid rule. It's so stupid. I'm glad they finally changed that. I think it's only for the NFL playoff. So, I want the Commanders to win, but I think the Eagles will pull this one out. And then the second game. Oh my gosh. Here we go again. Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. At least, I guess on the bright side, this is to go to the Super Bowl. But it's these two teams again. I don't know how many people are sick of these two teams playing against each other in the playoff. And it's like, oh great, we know what's going to happen. Yeah. Buffalo wins in the regular season, but Kansas City wins in the playoffs. The game's in Kansas City, Arrowhead, a tough place to play. I looked at the matchup predictor on ESPN.com, and they have Buffalo like a 50-something% chance winning this game. And Buffalo, they almost lost to Baltimore in the divisional round. They could have lost that game, but nope, they somehow pulled that off. Here they are again, taking on the team that they can't beat in the playoffs. They can beat them in the regular season, but they can't beat them in the playoffs, and they got to face them again. And you know, Kansas City's game against the Houston Texans the officiating was heavily criticized. So I saw a comment that's saying, "Oh no, it's the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs and the officials." We'll see how the officiating does in this game. Usually this is a close game, and I think it will be a close game. I don't know, maybe Buffalo can finally pull this one out, but I think it's going to happen again. I think Kansas City's going to win this by a field goal again. They might win by a field goal, probably 30-27 is my prediction. This game could go to overtime as well. So, yep, I got both home teams going to the Super Bowl, so I have a Super Bowl rematch from 2 years ago, which I don't really mind that, but at the same time, I don't really want that to be the Super Bowl. Eagles versus Chiefs again. I just got a feeling that's going to be the Super Bowl, a rematch. from 2 years ago. I want the Washington Commanders against the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. I hope that happens. Um, I know a lot of people are sick of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's what happens when you're a dynasty team for years. You're the best team for years. But at the same time, I don't mind if they win it again. I don't mind if they win 3 Super Bowls in a row because, I'm not a big NFL fan. I don't have a favorite team. I don't have a least favorite team. So if they win it again, that's cool. That's cool by me, I guess. I know it's all because of that Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce relationship that they have. I know that bothers people. That doesn't bother me because, like I said, I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan, so I am going to watch the Super Bowl. I will say that. I am going to watch the Super Bowl. So we could get Commanders versus Bills. We could get Commanders versus Chiefs. We could get Eagles versus Bills, or we could get a rematch. Chiefs versus Eagles. Let me know which 2 teams you have going to the Super Bowl. Whatever it is, I think all 4 of those matchups, I think all 4 will be a good game, good Super Bowl. If Buffalo's in it, will they finally win the Super Bowl? I don't know. It's in New Orleans, so there you go. Can you imagine? This just popped in my head. Can you imagine? It was snowing a lot in New Orleans. Can you imagine if they had that snow day during the Super Bowl? What would have happened? Would the game still happen? Or would it be postponed? Because it was a lot of snow. They had to shut down the big highways and bridges, so how can they travel? I don't know. And Mardi Gras. It was snowing on a Tuesday. What if Mardi Gras was that day? Because Mardi Gras is on a Tuesday. It's always on a Tuesday. They call it Fat Tuesday. It's the Louisiana holiday culture. So, yeah. So, there you have it. And now, the Australian Open to wrap things up here. I know the semifinals took place. It is a Friday. Australian time is so weird because it's on the opposite side of the world, the other side of the world. Yeah, I think both semifinals are completed. However, I did not see them yet. I recorded them. It's because I was watching something else instead. So I know the 2 semifinal matchups for the women's side and the men's side. So by the time you see this, you already know who's in the finals. The women's final is tomorrow at 2 a.m. Central. And the men's final is on Sunday at 2 a.m. Central. So I don't have to stay up all night to watch that live. I can record those. But the big story is Novak Djokovic, the 37-year-old, trying to go for major title number 25. I watched his match against Carlos Alcaraz. What a match that was. Seriously. That was the first time those two players faced each other at the Australian Open. The last time was in that historic gold medal final in Paris. So, yeah, I thought Carlos would win. Carlos won the first set, and then Novak won the next 3 sets. And, man, he looked terrific. That 37-year-old, he looked terrific. So, if he won the semifinal matchup, oh, my gosh, here he is, and if he's in the final. But I think Jannik Sinner is going to win the Australian Open. He is just too good. So I think we might have gotten a Sinner versus Djokovic final, a rematch from last year's semifinal. And on the women's side, I think Sabalenka and I think Arina Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek are going to face each other in the final. That's my prediction. I hope that is the final. Well, you got Madison Keys in the semifinals, the American player, and Ben Shelton on the men's side as well. So I think whoever's in the finals on both sides should be an interesting matchup. So yeah, I'll talk about the finals, what I saw on Monday. So thank you for watching KSN episode 11. And yeah, folks, have a great weekend. Enjoy the Australian Open finals and the NFL Conference Championship games. Have a great weekend. Talk to you on Monday. Thank you for listening to Keep Sports News.